What's up everybody, this is Ven welcoming you to another MOC Spotlight where we take apart what you build. For today's episode, we'll be taking a look at Uxar, Lord of the Forest, created and posted to our message boards by Monarth. Now before we get started, there are three fundamental qualities I'll be focusing on throughout the review: the overall appearance of the MOC, the build of the MOC itself, and whatever concepts and ideas that may have been put into the MOC's creation. I'll be forming a personal opinion on this MOC based on each quality, determining where the MOC excels and where it could use improvement. So let's get this started. Now coming out the gates, I gotta say this MOC looks really cool. I think I may come off a bit biased with this review because I just really like dragons and wyverns and that sort of thing in general. But all that aside, I feel like there is still a lot to this MOC that I do really like. And some of these qualities are quite particular, like the shaping of the torso, which I find looks very natural and clean. It's got a very seamless curvature to it that I really appreciate. The proportions look very much in line with wyvern aesthetic, well, with the hind legs being unobstructive and the forearms looking reasonably bulky, considering that they double as wings. Like, look at this guy in this particular pose right here. This pose truly sells this MOC to me. It looks aerodynamic, and the shape reminds me of a wyvern that I would see in a movie like Reign of Fire, or like in Game of Thrones, even though it's not a movie, but you know, same kind of visuals. And I know that they are referred to as dragons in both of these forms of visual media, but I'm trying to stick to the proper terminology here, where dragons have 4 legs and a set of wings, wyverns have 2 legs and a set of wings, that sort of thing. Whatever, let's not get into that. I like the body, I like the wings, and I also really like the tail. It has this incredible transition in its size. Like, it looks as though the tail is actually becoming thinner as it trails along away from the body. And this illusion is pulled off with these really slender skeletal bone pieces, and that's quite clever. Now, to be fair, there are a couple of things I probably would have done differently with this MOC in terms of design, like the color scheme. It's not necessarily a bad color scheme. The silver and green works well together, and plus it's maintaining the same color scheme from the original Uxar set, of which this particular MOC is based on, and we'll be talking more about that in a minute. But the issue I have is that the colors, with the way that they're placed on this MOC, look a little off. Like, it doesn't seem as though the colors naturally transition into one another, and it loses a bit of flow here and there. Like with the front limbs, they start with this dark orange ball piece in a MOC that doesn't have dark orange like anywhere else, but it's connected to this green bone piece that's covered with silver armor, and then eventually leads into the big silver forearm. And then with the hind legs, you're transitioning from a light gray to a dark gray bone piece with a green armor piece that is also covered up with a silver armor piece that then blends into this transparent neon green. And then the lower part is this neon green bone piece with the silver armor piece on. You know, it's very particular, and it sounds super nitpicky, but I'm trying my best to communicate what I'm seeing here. And basically, the point I'm trying to get at is that the color layout doesn't seem to be very consistent. And it's not really so bad because it is the same colors being used here and there, except for the dark orange, which kind of bothers me more than it really should. It's such a small piece, but just the fact that it's there and it's the only piece in that color there, why couldn't it just been dark gray or something? It's whatever, no biggie. And two other things I take issue with are, one, the multitude of textures that we have on this MOC that make some things look a little off. Like, you have some smooth parts, some looking really rough and crystalline, and then you also have some that look very mechanical and greebly. It's an issue that I took with a lot of BIONICLE sets in general, and I find that the MOC kind of suffers from it a little bit too. And secondly, the other thing that I'm not really feeling is the extra set of eyes. Like, you'll see that this guy has blue eyes, even though the main head part already has a set of eyes molded into it. Okay, no, it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, you can hardly notice the molded eyes. It's actually probably a good idea that he threw these blue eyes in there at all, because I'd imagine it would look a little bit weird without them. And now, with all that in mind, while I did find a few minor problems with this MOC, I can still actually look past all that quite easily. Perhaps because I'm used to the BIONICLE aesthetic with inconsistent textures. But I mean, it is a great looking MOC. It looks to be really well built, making some great usage out of Technic and CCBS parts to create the foundation. And again, the silhouette, just the shaping of the whole body and everything looks so natural. It definitely displays a creative and intuitive usage of all these specialized Bionicle parts. And with this MOC, as it may have been obvious to most of you Bionicle fans, it is supposed to be a redesign of Uxar, the creature of jungle. The builder has stated himself that he intended to base this redesign on a wyvern in order to make Uxar appear more powerful, and I'd say he pulled it off quite well. I mean, when you compare this to the original model, I mean, it's like no contest as to which one looks the most powerful. It's clearly the original. Nah, just kidding. And while I did find that there are some things that I probably would have changed about the MOC's appearance, overall I do really like it, and I'm intrigued to see what else the builder can pull off by redesigning the other creatures. So I mean, hey, wink wink, nudge nudge. And that about wraps up this MOC Spotlight, so congratulations to you, Monarth, and of course thank you for creating something so interesting and creative and sharing it with the rest of us on the message boards. And for the rest of you viewers that wish to do the same to get onto the MOC Spotlight, you too can join us at board.ttvchannel.com, where you are more than welcome to possibly earn your own MOC Spotlight by sharing with us whatever you have built under the LEGO Creations category. So I hope to see you then, and if not, I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.